Hi, hello. How is everyone tonight? How is everyone tonight? My name is Vesper Fortune, Bat of Fortune, Witch of Fate, here to help you change yours. We meet again. Hello and hello, Galaxy Prime. Thank you for the stretch and the drink. Hope you are doing well, Galaxy. Very good seeing you again. Oh. Sorry for the yawn. Yes, Vegas, uh, I've been keeping on and off with, Stanley Parable. I haven't been fully watching Stanley Parable because, I feel like that's always been a kind of game you should experience for yourself, so I haven't been, like, paying too much attention. However, it feels like every time I watch, I don't know what's happening, and I retain nothing of Stanley Parable playthroughs. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. I have a nice full travel mug. Is that what they call these? Of tea. This is my coconut macaroon tea. Good slurping ASMR. But I had fried chicken. I probably had too much fried chicken. I let the temptation. I let the temptation come over me, and I grabbed a third piece, and now I am regretting said third piece. I am full of regret, but also fried chicken. Delish. I am full of regret, but also fried chicken. Yes, yes. Yeah, it's probably not a game I would sit down and play, but it's fun watching. Yeah, I want to sit down and play because like, it's definitely in that mind fuckery space I enjoy. That it's not horror, but it's very close in that playing with it territory that I really do enjoy, like Afterplays, Undertale. Um, there's a lot of things I play with horror, but are never ever horror itself. But you'll see a lot of horror players coming to bat for them. Hi, oh, Snowy. Hey, how are you today? Welcome in. You are catching us. Well, you're catching me during pre-chat. But hi, how are you? What's up? What you doing lately? Let me get you a shout out. I don't have my mods out here right now. My mod is taking a very well-deserved breaky poo. So I'm actually on the job, but that's okay because I'm only doing reading tonight. You are catching us during Dracula hours. Just played some Celeste for stream earlier. Ooh, I love Celeste, but I'm not playing it again. I love Celeste, but oh my god. I played it without aim assist, and it's a lot. I love the story. Don't get me wrong, I love the story. I think I would rather. Yeah, there's like extra bonus levels and stuff. But I have a certain way I want my platformers to be, and Celeste is not it. I think it's just that I don't enjoy the idea. I don't enjoy it as a pacifist platformer. I beat one of those bonus levels and I want to die. Yeah, no, I was feeling that during regular gameplay. I don't think I can handle that for for the bonus levels. Greetings, salutations, and furthermore, tropical brownies. Those of you who want the coconut macaroon tea, Vesper has your hookup. Those of you who want a tropical brownie, too bad, I ate the last one earlier. For everyone else, hi, hello, RX, how are you tonight? And how does one make a brownie tropical? How does one make a brownie tropical? I would just play more of the main game, yeah. It feels like... I think I just came up with the perfect explanation for it. It feels like playing Celeste, the main game, is like learning all the tricks for it's like akin to Super Mario 64. You learn all the tricks, but you're not gonna use you don't need to use them all. But the bonus stuff is like Super Mario 64 ROM hacks, and you have to use the fucking bullshit like backwards long jump, spinny wall kick into oblivion, no clip. I guys, if you haven't noticed, I've been watching Mario speedruns. Normal value, it has pineapple in the batter and coconut sprinkled on top. Okay, wait. What if white chocolate brownie? What if a white chocolate brownie with the dried pineapple and the coconut sprinkled on top? Because white chocolate goes better with pineapple, in my opinion. Has anyone had like frozen pineapple covered in white chocolate? Wouldn't it be a blondie? I'm not sure how one would use white chocolate in a brownie even. So I guess it would technically be a blondie. You can't call it... Maybe a snowy? Maybe it'd be a snowy if it's a white chocolate. Because I think blondies are vanilla. Or add white chocolate chips to the brownie batter. Ah. I would just be trying to make... I see what you did there, you sly animal, you see? But yes, let me get out the MTG card, because I love it, and I forgot to show it off last night. Now I have Super Mario 64 music in my head. Specifically the snow level. The one with the penguin. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. And just like everyone else in the snow level, I threw the penguin child off the ledge, because we all did that at least once. Is this... I have all... Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. That works. We will... I can't believe I still have this stuff. Okay. Can't believe I still have Palm Bun's leaked evolution. I can't wait. It's been a while since I've played a Pokemon game because I don't have a Switch, but I think I might go ahead and do the get myself a Microsoft provided Switch. Wink. And get caught up on the old Pokemon games. Where is... I just had it. Also, hello, whatever. How are you tonight? Push him into the soup! Destroy target creature without flying. I love it. It kind of reminds me of Acid Trap from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's the bat enabling new video games for me. I hope I also start new obsessions and new brain-changing chemicals. But thank you, Alex. I do love it. I love how you got Un in there as well. That Pathlies Madness. I do want to see your reaction to the Zero Escape series, Ryuga. The plan to use Baja Blast was just too cruel. To be fair, if I remember correctly, a penny put into a glass of Coca-Cola dissolves in like 7 days, right? I'm not sure if that applies to Baja Blast, but you know. But Ryuga, I kind of want you to stream it because I mostly want to see how chat reacts as well. I want to see how the kobolds react. Too much Taco Bell always comes with Bob. Best for awakening me, maybe playing a Metroidvania. See, I'm helping out the communities. I'm helping out the gaming world by awakening things and people. Now, I have to try and not spoil a game around y'all. That's a first. To be fair, I was doing my best to not spoil Virtue's Last Reward for Ace. Oh my god. And now I can't say anything because I bought the damn games for Ryuga, so... I'm not sure what... I don't think I put in enough tea. I don't think I put enough leaves into my tea. Feels a little weak, but I'll survive. I will survive. We know all their secrets. But yes, I hope everyone enjoys. Cause those are 3 whole ass games again, and they're gonna take a while. But I'm glad everyone's doing well tonight. Let me go ahead and get us all set up for Dracula. We were on... Oh god, where were we? Guys, it's been 2 weeks. Guys. We were on chapter 21. I felt like we were... I am making sure. I'm pretty sure we read this. Did I not note down? Where the hell we last left off? Oh man. I just want more sassy bunny. Man, so I can somehow walk around this. I also miss the sassy bunny. When I was younger, actually, when I first started playing that is the game with the sassy bunny, I actually planned a Gaijinka cosplay of him. I had it planned. I did not have the money nor a con to go to with it. I did not have the money, the talent, or the con to go to with it. Okay, I'm going to actually check something real quick, cause my ass for gore. The pants ate it. Speaking of which... Thank you, Breakles. Can't have me running around half naked now, can we? Okay, let me just listen to my own VOD. What if I made an audio cue for that, Vester? I mean, I can set it up, but... Yeah, you know what? We need an audio cue for the whore pants, I guess. But you also need to make one. No, wait, I can just steal the Sailor Moon theme for the sailor outfit. I nearly put in Sailor Moon into my search bar. Okay, let me go into... New donation from Vespa's Toxic Yaoi Commander deck. I wish I have started on that. I have started instead on a Yuna deck. You know how your deck makes treasures for you? Now it's happening literally. Thank you, my Toxic Yaoi Commander deck. But I can't wait for Tuesday. Tuesday's our next Magic Night, and I have upgraded my Urga deck a little. I tweaked my Pongification deck as well as my Discount Annabelle. Oh, damn. Also, wait, what? How can I see myself through YouTube? How can I see myself through YouTube? You know what? That's a question better left for another day. Okay, stone flagged yard. Yeah, that's near the end. I probably did not start on this chapter yet. I did not start on chapter 23 yet. Also, did I ever give Snowy that shout out? I think I did. Also, hold on. Let me give you guys a shout out. Damn my short-term memory law. Damn my short-term memory. I think I need medication. Polly, I don't know. I have something wrong with me. I probably have something wrong with me. I probably have something wrong with me. Thank you for the care package. Shoulder blades? Well, not shoulder blades, but... Man, how many... We all need drugs. Hey, Silver. How are you today? How's the sandwich shop? How be the sandwiches? I feel like that's probably one of the weirdest things I have said. How be the sandwiches? How delicious is the sandwich? Okay, Elemental Soundworks with Dracula's Castle 2. In Vesper's case, the drugs I meant coffee mate. It's a good sandwich. It has toasted cheese and honey mustard and a bunch of other stuff. Ooh. Toasted cheese and honey mustard. Ah. Good life. Living the good life. What would you want for an all your queue, by the way? Probably should be something that does not get me into legal trouble. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Oh wait, I keep forgetting to mute my own music. Hold on. Alright, we are on chapter 23. At least according to my maths. Hold on. Should I finish up tonight? How many chapters do we have? No, we still got a pretty good bit. If I'm feeling up to it, but we'll see, we'll see. I have gardening to do after this. And by that, I mean digital gardening. So I should manage to stop at an appropriate time. Not to mention, I do kind of want to play some FF14, not gonna lie. Chapter 23, Dr. Seward's Diary, 3rd of October. Time seemed terribly long whilst we were waiting for the coming of Lord Goldeming and Quincy Morris. Oh wait, I forgot to do the last time on Dragon Ball Z. The team finally got off their ass and is now putting communion wafers in all of Dracula's soil boxes. We have learned the power of the wafer, and it is strong. And now we are putting the flesh of Jesus into the metaphorical flesh of Jesus into vampire soil. Okay, I think that basically covers what has happened. That and Mina is once again involved because boys are stupid. Straight men are stupid. At least in this story, but there tends to be an overarching element here of men leaving women alone with a vampire suitor. Are the heterosexuals okay? No, they keep being bitten by vampires. Chapter 23, Dr. Seward's Diary. 3rd of October. The time seemed terribly long whilst we were waiting for the coming of Lord Godalming and Quincy Morse. First I tried to keep our minds active by using them all the time. Could see his beneficent purpose by the side glances which he drew from time to time at Harker. Poor fellow is overwhelmed in a misery that is appalling to see. Last night he was a frank, happy-looking man with strong, youthful face, full of energy, and with dark brown hair. Today he is a drawn, haggard old man whose white hair matches well with the hollow, burning eyes and grief-written lines of his face. His energy is still intact. In fact, he is like a living flame. This may yet be his salvation. For if all go well, it will tide him over the despairing period. He will then, in a kind of way, wake again to the realities of life. Poor fellow. I thought my own trouble was bad enough, but his... The professor knows this well enough, and is doing his best to keep his mind active. What he has been saying was, under the circumstances, of absorbing interest, so well as I can remember. Here it is. I have studied over and over again since they came into my hands all the papers relating to this monster, and the more I have studied, the greater seems a necessity to utterly stamp him out. All through there are signs of his advance, not only of his power, but of his knowledge of it. As I have learned from my researches of my friend Armin Artlet. Armin Artlet of Budapest. No. As I have learned from the researches of my friend Arminus of Budapest, he was in life a most wonderful man, soldier, statesman, and alchemist, which latter was the highest development of the science knowledge of his time. He had a mighty brain, a learning beyond compare, and a heart that knew no fear and no remorse. He dared even to attend the scholomance. There was no branch of knowledge of his time that he did not essay. In him the brain power survived the physical death, though it would seem that memory was not all complete. Some faculties of mine he has been, and is, only a child. But he is growing, and some things that were childish at the first are now of man's stature. He is experimenting, and doing it well. And if it had not been that we have crossed his path, he may be yet, if we fail, the father of furtherer of a new order of beings, whose road must lead through death, not life. Harker groaned and said, "In all this arrayed against my darling, how is he experimenting? The knowledge may help us to defeat him. He has, all along since his coming, been trying to power, slowly but surely, that big child brain of his is working. Well, for us, it is, as yet, a child brain. We had dared, at first, to attempt certain things we long ago have been beyond our power. However, he means to succeed, and a man who has centuries before him can afford to wait and go slow. Festina lente may well be his motto." "I fail to understand," said Harker wearily. "Oh, do be more plain to me. Perhaps grief and trouble are dulling my brain." The professor laid his hand tenderly on his shoulder as he spoke. "Ah, my child, I will be plain. Do you see now how, of late, this monster has been creeping into knowledge experimentally? He has been making use of one of the zoophagous patients to effect his entry into friend John's home. For your vampire, though in all afterwards, he can come when and how he will. Must at first make entry only when asked thereto by an inmate. But these are not his most important experiments. Thank you for the alert, Neff. I hope you've been enjoying your time. Please rest up. I know you have your own readings to do, but thank you for the alert and thank you for hopping in. But these are not his most important experiments. Do we not see how at the first all these so great boxes were moved by others? He knew not then, but that must be so. But all the time that so great childbrain of his was growing, he began to consider whether he might not himself move the box. So he began to help, and then, when he found that this be all right, he tried to move them all alone. And so he progressed, and he scattered these graves of him, and none but he know where they are hidden. He may not intend to bury them deep in the ground, so that he only use them in the night, when at such time he can change his form, and they do him equal well. And now none may know these are his hiding place. But my child, do not despair. This knowledge come to him just too late. Already all of his lairs but one be sterilized. As for him, before the sunset this shall be so. Then he have no place where he can move and hide. I delayed this morning so he might be sure. Is there not more at stake for us than for him? And why are we not even more careful than him? By my clock it is 1 hour, and already, if all be well, friend Arthur and Quincy are on their way to us. Today is our day, but we must go sure, if slow, and lose no chance. See, there are five of us when those absent ones return. Whilst he was speaking, we were startled by a knock at the hall door. The double postman's knock of the telegraph boy. We all moved out to the hall with one impulse, and Van Helsing holding up his hand to keep us silence. Hold on, let me reread that. And Van Helsing holding up his hand to us to keep silence, stepped to the door and opened it. The boy handed it in a dispatch. Cressa closed the door again, and after looking at the direction, opened and read it aloud. Look out for D. He has just now, 12:45, come from Carfax hurriedly and hastened towards the south. He seems to be going the round and may want to see you, Mina. Sorry. There was a pause, broken by Jonathan Harker's voice. Now, God be thanked we shall soon meet. Van Helsing turned to him quickly and said, God will act in his own way and time. Do not fear, and do not rejoice yet. What we wish for at the moment may be our undoings. I care for nothing now, he answered hotly, except to wipe out this brute from the face of creation. I would sell my soul to do it. Oh, hush, hush, my child, said Van Helsing. God does not purchase souls in this wise, and the devil, though he may purchase, does not keep faith. But God is merciful and just, and knows your pain and your devotion to that dear Madame Mina. Thank you. Thank you. How her pain would be doubled, did she but hear your wild words. Do not fear any of us, we are all devoted to the cause. Today shall see the end. The time is coming for action. Today this vampire is limit to the powers of man. Till sunset he may not change. It'll take him time to arrive here. See, it is 20 minutes past 1. There are yet some times before he can hither come, be he never so quick. What we must hope for is that my Lord Arthur and Quincy arrive first. About half an hour after we... Also, thank you for the look, whatever. About half an hour after we had received Mrs. Harker's telegram, there came a quiet, resolute knock at the hall door. Just an ordinary knock, such as given hourly by thousands of gentlemen, but made Professor's heart and mind beat loudly. We looked at each other, and together moved out into the hall. We each held ready to use our various armaments, a spiritual in the left hand and the mortal in the right. Van Helsing pulled back the latch, and holding the door half open, stood back, having both hands ready for action. The gladness of our hearts must have shown upon our faces. On a step, close to the door, we saw Lord Goldeming and Quincy Morris. They came quickly in and closed the door behind them, the former saying as they moved along the hall, "It is all right. We found both places, 6 boxes in each, and we destroyed them all." "Destroyed?" asked the professor. "For him." We were silent for a minute, and then Quincy said, "There's nothing to do but wait here." Wait here? I'm supposed to be giving him a southern accent. Where is this Welsh coming from? "There's nothing to do but wait here. If, however, he doesn't turn up by 5 o'clock, you must start off. It won't do to leave Mrs. Harker alone after sunset. He will be here before long now," said Van Helsing, having consulting his pocketbook. "Nota bene. In Madam Mina's telegram, he went south from Carfax. Which means he went across the river. He can only do so at the slack of tide, which should be something before 1 o'clock. That he went south has a meaning for us. He is as yet only suspicious. And he went from Carfax first to the place where he would suspect interference the least. He must have been at Bermondsey only a short time before him. He is not he already shows he went to Mile End next. This took him some time, for he would then have to be carried over the river in some way. Believe me, my friends, we shall not have long to wait now. We should have raised some planned attack, so that we may throw away no chance. Hush, there is no time now. Have all your arms, be ready." He held up a warning hand as he spoke, but all could hear a key softly inserted in the lock of the hall door. "Guys, I've gotta jump him. Dracula's gonna be jumped." I could not help but admire, even at such a moment, the way in which a dominant spirit asserted itself. In all our hunting parties and adventures in different parts of the world, Quincy Morris had always been the one to arrange the plan of action, and Arthur and I had been accustomed to obey him implicitly. Now the old habit seemed to be renewed instinctively. With a swift glance around the room, he at once laid out our plan of attack, and without speaking a word, with a gesture, placed us in each position. Van Helsing, Harker, and I were just behind the door, so that when it was open the professor could guard it, whilst we two stepped between the incomer and the door. Goldeming behind and Quincy in front stood just out of sight, ready to move in front of the window. We waited in a suspense that made the seconds pass with nightmare slowness. The slow, careful steps came along the hall. Count was evidently prepared for some surprise. At least he feared it. Suddenly, with a single bound, he leaped into the room, running away past us before any of us could raise a hand to stay him. There was something so panther-like in the movement, something so unhuman, that seemed to sober us all from the shock of his coming. The first to act was Harker, who with a quick movement threw himself before the door leading into the room in front of the house. As the Count saw us, a horrible sort of snarl passed over his face, showing the eye teeth long and pointed. But the evil smile as quickly passed into a cold stare of lion-like disdain. The expression changed as with a single impulse we all advanced upon him. It's a pity we had not some better organized plan attack, but even at the moment I wondered what we were to do. I did not myself know whether our lethal weapons would avail us anything. Harker evidently meant to try the matter, for he had ready his great kukri knife and made a fierce and sudden cut at him. The blow was a powerful one. Only the diabolical quickness of the Count's leap back saved him. A second less in the trenchant blade had shorn through his heart. As it was, the point just cut the cloth of his cloak, making a wide gap when a bundle of banknotes and a stream of gold fell out. The expression of the Count's face was so hellish that for a moment I feared for Harker. I saw him throw the terrible knife aloft again for another stroke. Instinctively, I moved forward with a protective impulse, holding the crucifix and wafer in my left hand. I felt a mighty power fly along my arm, and it was without surprise I saw the monster cower back before a similar movement made spontaneously by each one of us. It being impossible to describe the expression of hate and baffled malignity, of anger and hellish rage which came over the Count's face. His waxen hue became greenish-yellow by contrast of his burning eyes, and the red scar on his forehead showed the pallid skin like a palpitating wound. The next instant, with a sinuous dive, he swept under Harker's arm, ere his blow could fall, and grasping a handful of money from the floor, dashed across the room, threw himself at the window. Amid the crash and glitter of the falling glass, tumbled to the flagged area below. The sound of shivering glass, I could hear the ting of the gold as some of the sovereigns fell on the flagging. We ran over and saw him spring unhurt from the ground. He, rushing up from the steps, crossed the flagged yard, pushed open a stable door. There he turned and spoke to us. "You think to baffle me? You, with your pale faces all in a row, like sheep in a butcher's. You shall be sorry yet, each one of you. Think you have left me without a place to rest, but I have more. My revenge has just begun. I spread it over centuries, and time is on my side. Your girls that you all love are mine already, and through them you and others shall yet be mine. My creatures to do my bidding and to be my jackals when I want to feed." Ugh. With a contemptuous sneer, passed quickly through the door, and we heard the rusty bolt creak as he fastened it behind him. A door beyond opened and shut. First I was to speak with the professor. As realizing the difficulty of following him through the stable, he moved toward the hall. I'm sorry, let me have another drink. Do we get train rides, though? Unfortunately, I think we're staying in London for the entirety of this one. I mean, for the rest of this. Come on, we have already had the train rides. We have learned something, much. Notwithstanding his brave words, he fears us, he fears time, he fears want. Or if not, why he hurry? His very tone betray him, or my ears deceive. Why take that money? You follow quick. You are the hunters of the wild beast, and understand it so. For me, I make sure that nothing here may be of use to him. It's so that he return. As he spoke, he put the money remaining into his pocket, took the title deeds and the bundle as Harker had left them, and set the remaining things into the open fireplace, where he set fire to them with a match. Yeah, I grew up in a depression-laden city. Depression-laden rain city. I'll get used to it. Man, I wish we had a good-as-hell train system. That would help so many tourism towns, honestly. Like, imagine if you could just visit a tourism town on a weekend after a train ride. I'm really about to just try not to get into politics, and it's like, oh my god, why don't we have trains? Oh right, lobbyism. Goldwing and Morris rushed out into the yard, and Harker had lowered himself in the window to follow the Count. He had, however, bolted the stable door. By the time they forced it open, there was no sign of him. Van Helsing and I tried to make inquiry at the back of the house, but the mews deserted and no one had seen him depart. It was late It was now late in the afternoon, and the sunset was not far off. I did recognize our game was up, and with heavy hearts we agreed with the professor when he had said, "Let's go back to Madame Mina. Poor, dear Madame Mina. All we can do now is done, and we can there, at least protect her, but we need not despair. There is but one more oath box, and we must try to find it. When that is done, all may yet be well." See that he spoke as bravely as he could to comfort Harker. The poor fellow was quite broken down. Now again he gave a low groan which he could not suppress. He was thinking of his wife. With sad hearts we came back to my house, where we found Mrs. Harker awaiting us. The appearance of cheerfulness which did honor to her bravery and unselfishness. When she saw our faces, her own became pale as death. For a second or two her eyes were closed as if she were in secret prayer. Then she said cheerfully, "I can never thank you all enough. Oh, my poor darling." As she spoke, she took her husband's grey head in her hands and kissed it. "Lay your poor head here and rest it. All will yet be well, dear. God will protect us if he so will in it. His good intent." The poor fellow groaned. There was no place for words in his sublime misery. We had a sort of perfunctory supper together. I think it cheered us all up somewhat. It's perhaps the mere animal heat of food to hungry people, but none of us had eaten anything since breakfast. While a sense of companionship may have helped us, but anyhow, we were all less miserable, and saw the more as not altogether without hope. True to our promise, we told Mrs. Harker everything which had passed, though she grew snowy white at times when danger had seemed to threaten her husband, and red at others when his devotion to her was manifested. She listened bravely and with calmness. When we came to the part where Harker had rushed at the Count so recklessly, she clung to her husband's arm, held so tight as though her clinging could protect him from any harm that might come. She said nothing, till the narration was done, and matters had been brought right up to the present time. Then without letting go her husband's hand, she stood up amongst us and spoke. Oh, and I could give any idea of the scene of that sweet, good woman, and all her radiant beauty of her youth and animation, the red scar on her forehead, of which she was conscious, and which we saw with grinding of our teeth, remembering whence and how it came, her loving kindness against our grim hate, her tender faith against all our fears and doubting, and we, knowing that so far as symbols went, she with all her goodness and purity and faith, was outcast from God. "Jonathan," she said, and the words sounded like music on her lips, it was so full of love and tenderness. "Jonathan, dear, and you all, my true friends, I want you to bear something in mind through all this dreadful time. Now that you must fight, that you must destroy, even as you destroyed the false Lucy, so that true Lucy might live hereafter. But it's not a work of hate. That poor soul who has brought all this misery is the saddest case of all. Just think what will be in his joy when he too... Just think what will be his joy too, is destroyed in his worst part, that his better part may have spiritual immortality. You must be pitiful to him too, though it may not hold your hands from his destruction." As she spoke, I could see her husband's face darken and draw together, as though the passion in him were shriveling his being to its core. Instinctively, the clasp on his wife's hand grew closer, till his knuckles looked white. He did not flinch from the pain which I knew she must have suffered, but looked at him with eyes that were more appealing than ever. As she stopped speaking, he leaped to his feet, almost tearing his hand from hers as he spoke. "May God give him into my hand just for being enough to destroy that earthly life of him which we are aiming at. If beyond it I could send his soul forever and ever into burning hell, I would do it." "Oh hush, oh hush, oh hush. In the name of good God, don't say such things, Jonathan. My husband, or you will crush me with horror and fear. Just think, my dear, I've been thinking of this. I've been thinking all this long day of it, that perhaps someday I too may need such pity. That some other like you, with equal cause for anger, may deny it to me. Oh, my husband, my husband. Indeed, I would have spared you such a thought had there been another way. But I pray that God may not have treasured your wild words, except that the heartbroken wail of a very lovely and sorely stricken man. Oh God, let these poor white hairs go in evidence of what he has suffered, who all his life has done no wrong, on whom many sorrows have come. We men were all in tears now. There was no resisting them, and we wept openly. She wept too, to see that her sweeter counsels had prevailed. Her husband had flung himself on his knees beside her, putting his arms around her, hid his face in the folds of her dress. Van Helsing beckoned to us, and we stole out of the room, leaving the two loving hearts alone with their God. Before they retired, the professor fixed up the room against any coming of the vampire, assured Mrs. Harker that she might rest in peace. She tried to school herself to the belief, and manifestly for her husband's sake, tried to seem content. It was a brave struggle and was, I think and believe, not without its reward. Van Helsing had placed at hand a bell which either of them must sound in case of any emergency. When they had retired, Quincy, Goldeming, and I arranged that we should sit up, dividing the night between us, watch over the safety of the poor stricken lady. The first watch falls to Quincy, so that the rest of us shall be off to bed as soon as we can. Goldeming has already turned in, for his is the second watch. Now that my work is done, I too shall go to bed. Hey Colmy, hello, hello, let me give you a shout out. I hope you are doing well. I'm sorry, I'm yawning a lot. I'm still recovering from daylight savings time. The jump forward took away an hour from me. And I've been suffering this whole week. I'm doing fine. I hang out with my IRL best friend today. Nice. I hope you guys have a good time. What are you guys planning on doing? Jonathan Harker's journal. October 3rd to 4th, close to midnight. I thought yesterday would never end. There was over me yearning for sleep. And some sort of blind belief to wake would be to find things change. Then any change must now be for the better. Before we parted, we discussed what our next step was to be, but we could arrive at no result. All I knew was that one of the earth blocks remained, that the Count alone knew where it was. If he chooses to lie hidden, he may baffle us for years. In the meantime, that was too horrible. I dare not think of it even now. This I know, that if ever there was a woman who was all perfection, that was my poor wrong darling. I loved her 1,000 times more than for her sweet pity of last night, a pity that made my own hate of the monster seem despicable. Surely God will not permit the world to be poor by the loss of such a creature. Okay, I am going to take a we have 41 minutes, so I will just mark my spot. Well, 41 seconds, my bad. We don't have 41 minutes till the next ad break. I hope everyone's enjoying Dracula. We are hitting the climax, it seems. We are hitting the climax. And I'm kind of wondering, anyone else cheering for Dracula? Are we the baddies? Listen, the only reason why I'm kind of like cheering for the good guys is mostly because of Mina and Lucy. Honestly, I do like how like you look on like how when I look at all the interpretations of these other characters and like how they so wildly delineate, like I think the only one Nalu Bracos, you're being imprisoned to the sun. Enjoy being imprisoned to the sun. I am going to go get a drink. No one get Bracos off the sun. I'll be right back. I'm back, sorry. I am free. You went to some indie bookstores and a book swap event? Had a good lunch, nice. Nice, I am so jelly. That sounds absolutely divine. I would love to go to a book swap and indie bookstores. We have some indie bookstores. They're just the type that close at like 6 p.m. and we're not 6 p.m. girlies. We're not get to a place before 6 p.m. girlies. You know, we are stay in the mall until closing hours girlies, you know? It's like, girl, what? I mean, we can get up and then go antiquing and then go to an indie bookstore, but that requires planning. That requires effort on our parts. That requires planning a day, waking up early on that day. That's a bunch of ew. But honestly, like, I love going antiquing and stuff, and going into, like, a little indie shops. Effort? Ew, exactly. Speaking of which, I spent so much time making my tea and getting my laundry. I am just going to just do some double checking, do some light messaging, do some light message checking. Okay, okay. Nothing's on. Wait. Wait. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the tarot card Ryuga put in his own their own Discord. I'm like, okay, okay. Okay, we cooking. Oh, yeah, I saw that during break, yeah. I wonder if it's gonna be like a whole readable deck, or if it's just the major arcana. Okay, back to Jonathan Harker's journal. Any certain books you guys got? Any certain books that you want to tell us about coming? I love myself some books. I need to get back on to reading, which I'm doing right now, but you know what I mean. We are all drifting reefwards now, and faith is our only anchor, thank God. Mina is sleeping, and sleeping without dreams. I fear what her dreams might be like, with such terrible memories to ground them in. She has not been so calm within my seeing since the sunset. Then for a while, there came over her face a repose, just like spring after the blasts of March. Thought at the time that was the softness of the red sunset on her face, but somehow now I think it has a deeper meaning. I'm not sleepy myself, though I am weary to death. But I must try to sleep, for there is tomorrow to think of, and no rest for me until later. I must have fallen asleep, for I was awaked by Mina, who was sitting up in bed, with a startled look on her face. See easily, for we did not leave the room in darkness. She had placed a warning hand over my mouth. Now I think she whispered in my ears. Hush. There's someone in the corridor. I got up softly, crossing the room, and gently opened the door. Just outside, stretched on a mattress, lay Mr. Morris, wide awake. He raised a warning hand for silence as he whispered to me, Hush, go back to bed, it's alright. None of us will be here all night. We don't mean to take any chances. His look and gesture forbade discussion, so I came back and told Mina. She sighed, and positively a shadow of a smile stole over her poor, pale face as she put her arms around me and said softly, Oh, thank God for good, brave man. Sighed, she sank back to sleep. I like this now as I'm not sleepy, though I must try again. 4th of October, morning. Once again during the night I was awakened by Mina. This time we had all a good sleep. For the gray of the coming dawn was making the windows into sharp oblongs. The gas flame was like a speck rather than a disk of light. She said to me hurriedly, Go, call the professor. I want to see him at once. Why? I asked. I have an idea. I suppose it must have come in the night, mature without my knowing it. You must hypnotize me before dawn, and I shall be able to speak. Go, quick, dearest. Time's getting close. I went to the door. Dr. Seward was resting on the mattress. Seeing me, he sprang to his feet. Is anything wrong? He asked in alarm. No, I replied, but Mina wants to see Dr. Van Helsing at once. I will go, he said, and hurried into the professor's room. In 2 or 3 minutes later, Van Helsing in the room in his dressing gown, and Mr. Morris and Lord Godalming were with Dr. Seward at the door asking questions. The professor saw Mina smile, a positive one ousted the anxiety of his face. He held his hands and said, Oh, my dear Madam Mina, this is indeed a change. See, friend Jonathan? You got our dear Madam Mina, as of old, back to us today. And turning to her, he said cheerfully, And what am I do for you? For at this hour you do not want me for nothings. I want you to hypnotize me, she said. Do it before the dawn, for I feel then I can speak, and speak freely. Be quick, for the time is short. Without a word, he motioned her to sit up in bed. Trying to be tech support for my grandma from afar, wish me luck. Good luck, Bracos. That is an entire mood, because tech support is already an issue. Doing it from afar? God. Looking fixedly at her, he commenced to make passes in front of her, from over the top of her head downward, each hand in turn. Mina gazed at him fixedly for a few minutes, during which my own heart beat like a trip hammer, for I felt that some crisis was at hand. Gradually her eyes closed, and she sat, stock still, only by the gentle heaving of her bosom could one know she was alive. She was alive because her breasts were booblies. I know it's not meant to be like that, but that was just the first thing to come to my mind. We knew she was alive because she was breasting boobily. Professor made a few more passes and then stopped. I could see that his forehead was covered with great beads of perspiration. Mina opened her eyes, but she did not seem the same woman. There was a faraway look in her eyes. Her voice had a sad dreaminess which was new to me. Raising his hand to impose silence, the professor motioned to me to bring the others in. They came on tiptoe, closing the door behind them, and stood at the foot of the bed, looking on. Mina appeared not to see them. The stillness was broken by Van Helsing's voice, speaking in a low, level tone. She could not break the current of her thoughts. Where are you? The answer came in a natural way. I do not know. Sleep has no place it can call its own. For a few minutes there was silence. Mina sat rigid, and the professor stood staring at her fixedly. The rest of us hardly dared to breathe. The room was growing lighter. Without taking his eyes from Mina's face, Dr. Van Helsing motioned me to pull up the blind. I did so, and the day seemed just upon us. Red streaks shot up, and a rosy light seemed to diffuse itself through the room. On the instant, the professor spoke again. Where are you now? The answer came dreamily, but with intention. It were as though she were interpreting something. I've heard her use the same tone when reading her shorthand notes. I do not know. It is all strange to me. What do you see? I see nothing. It is all dark. What do you hear? I could detect a strain in the professor's patient voice. The lapping of water. It is gurgling by. And the little waves weep, and the little waves leap. I can hear them on the outside. Then are you on a ship? We all looked at each other, trying to glean something from each other. We were afraid to think. The answer came quick. Oh, yes. What else do you hear? The sound of men stamping overhead as they went about. There's the creaking of a chain, and the loud tinkle as the check of the capstan falls into the ratchet. What are you doing? I am still, oh so still. It is like death. The voice faded away into a deep breath as of one sleeping, and the open eyes closed again. By this time the sun had risen. We were all in the full light of day. Dr. Van Helsing placed his hands on Mina's shoulders, and laid her head softly down on her pillow. She lay like a sleeping child for a few moments, and then, with a long sigh, awoke, and stared in wonder to see us all around her. Have I been talking in my sleep? Was all she said. She seemed, however, to know the situation without telling, though she was eager to know what she had told. The professor repeated the conversation, and she said, And there is not a moment to lose. It may not yet be too late. Mr. Morris and Lord Godalming started for the door. The professor's calm voice called them back. Stay, my friends, that ship, wherever it was weighing anchor while she spoke. There are many ships weighing anchor at the moment in your so great port of London. Which of them is it that you seek? God be thanked that we once again have a clue, though whether it may lead us, we know not. We have been blind somewhat, blind after the manner of man. Since when can we look back? We see we might have seen looking forward. If we had been able to see what might have been seen. Fucking Van Helsing. Alas, that sentence is a puddle, is it not? We can now know what was in the Count's mind when he seized that money. Though Jonathan so fiercely put him in danger that even he dread. He meant to escape. Hear me? Escape. He saw that, but with one earth box left. Pack of men following like dogs after a fox. This London was no place for him. He'd take his last earth box on a ship. He'd leave the land. He'd think to escape, but no, we follow him. Tally-ho! That's what Arthur would say when he put on his red frock. Our old fox is wily, oh, so wily. We must follow with wile. I too am wily. I think his mind in a little while. In the meantime we may rest in peace, for there are waters between us, which he do not want to pass, and which he could not if he would, unless the ship were to touch land, and then only at full or slack tide. And when the sun is just rose, and all day to sunset is to us, let's take bath and dress and have breakfast, which you all need, and which we can eat comfortably, since he not be in the same land with us. Mina looked at him appealingly as she asked, "But we need to seek him further when he has gone away from us." He took her hand and patted as he replied, "Ask me no things as yet. When we have breakfast, then I answer all questions." We would say no more, and we separated to dress. After breakfast, Mina repeated her question. He looked at her gravely for a minute and said sorrowfully, "Because, my dear, dear Madam Mina, now more than ever we must find him, and if we have to follow him to the jaws of hell." She grew paler as she asked faintly, "Why?" "Because," he answered solemnly, "he can live for centuries, but you are a mortal woman. Time is now to be dreaded, since once he put that mark upon your throat." I was just in time to catch her as she fell forward in a faint. Okay, I'm just checking ahead. Oh, chapter 24 is big. Okay, where do we think Dracula's headed, my guys? I'm sorry, I am. The bones be filled with ache, and I am filled with sleep. I am filled with tired. I think the amount of sugar I put into my tea is causing a crash. But I shall live. I will live. Ah. But I'm thinking we're going back to Dracula's castle, his original castle in Transylvania. Because I don't think there's any place else for him to go. Like, he has to return home if he doesn't have any soil. I don't think he has any place to go if he doesn't have his soil. And he took his last box with him. I'm assuming he took his last box with him. By the way, I don't know if I said this directly or not, but I do enjoy this reading of yours. Thank you. I do enjoy my little Sunday readings. I'd like you to do more of it. Maybe next read Dracula 2 Undead Boogaloo. I am planning on putting in some creepypastas between now and the next book, because I'm thinking maybe we go a little different, because I read Frankenstein, I read Carmilla, and now I read Dracula. I think it's time I did not read a horror, but instead I think I'm going to read, like, Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, something very Victorian. Creepypasta? Linguini alla Luxford? I just kind of done reading Pride and Prejudice, funny enough. Another reason why I want to read some things is because, like, I want to do a video on the incest game, as it's known as, the Coffin of Andy and Lele. Even though it's not an incest game, it's a horror game that happens to have incest in it. I wanted to see if it had, like, gothic tendencies. Because, like, the gothics were all about incest. Gothic Gothic authors just love their incest, and then that carry over to like what was her name? VC Andrews. VC Andrews also really loved incest, to a point where it's kind of worrying. Because I think VC Andrews also had incest in a lot of her books. So like, I kind of just want to do a comparison between the classic Gothics and their tropes with Andy and Lele. Incest, like charity, starts at home. Oh my god. Oh my god. Am I wrong? Hold on. What's his face? Oedipus. He was just prophesized. He didn't know he was marrying his mother. Oedipus didn't know he was marrying his mother. He knew he was prophesized. He just did not know at the time. So like sometimes it's unintentional. Chapter 24, Dr. Stewart's phonograph diary, spoken by Van Helsing. Spoken by Van Helsing, okay, so I need Van Helsing voice. This is to Jonathan Hawker. You are to stay with your dear Madam Mina. We shall go make our search, if I can call it so. For it is not search, but knowing. We seek confirmation only. But do you stay awake and take care of her today. This is your best and most holiest office. This day nothing can find him here. Let me tell you that so you will know what we foreknow already. For I have to tell them. He, our enemy, has gone away. He have gone back to his castle in Transylvania. I know it so well, as if a great hand of fire wrote it on the wall. He had prepared for this in some way. And that last earth box was ready to ship somewheres. For he might hide in the tomb, I think, poor Lucy, being as he thought like him, keep open to him. But there was not of time. When that failed, he makes straight for his last resource. His last earthwork, I might say, that I wish double entente. He's clever, oh so clever. He knew that his game here was finished, and so he decided to go back home. Found a ship going with the route he came, and he go in it. We go off now to find what ship, and where they're bound. When we have discovered that, come back to tell you all. Then we will comfort you and poor dear Madam Mina with new hope. For it will be hope when you think it over. That all is not lost. This very creature that we pursue take hundreds of years to get so far as London, yet in one day, we know the disposal of him will drive him out. He is finite, though he's powerful to do much harm and suffers not as we do. But we are strong, each in our purpose. We are all more strong together. Take heart afresh, dear husband of Madam Mina. This battle is but begun. In the end we shall win. So sure that God sits on high watch over his children. Therefore, be much of comfort till we return. Van Helsing. I kinda just fucking lost it. Most people are like, oh, you're the wife of your husband. You're Mrs. So-and-so. No, it's Jonathan who is Mr. Madam Mina. Oh, you're the husband of Mina. I love it. I love it. Dear husband of Madam Mina, take that, patriarchy. I regret nothing. And I think the Facebooks are working again. Jonathan Harker's journal, 4th of October. When I read to Mina Van Helsing's message in the phonograph, the poor girl brightened up considerably. Only the certainty that the Count is out of the country has given her comfort or strength to her. For my own part, now that his horrible danger is not face to face with us, it seems almost impossible to believe in it. Even my own terrible experiences at Castle Dracula seem like a long-forgotten dream. Here in the crystal mirror in the bright sunlight, alas, how can I disbelieve? In the midst of my thought, my eye fell upon the red scar on my poor darling's white forehead. Whilst at last there can be no disbelief. Afterwards, the very memory of it will keep faith crystal clear. Mina and I fear to be idle, so we've been all over the diaries again and again. Somehow, although the reality seems greater each time, the pain and fear seem less. There is something of a guiding purpose manifest throughout, which is comforting. And it says that perhaps we are the instruments of an ultimate good. It may be. I shall try to think as she does. We have never spoken to each other yet of the future. It's better to wait till we see the professor and the others after their investigations. Days running more quickly than I ever thought a day could run from me again. It is now 3 o'clock. Mina Harker's journal, 5th of October, 5 p.m. Our meeting for report. Present? Professor Van Helsing, Lord Godalming, Dr. Seward, Mr. Quincy Morris, Jonathan Harker, Mina Harker. Dr. Van Helsing described what steps were taken during the day to discover on what boat whither bound Count Dracula made his escape. As I knew that he wanted to get back to Transylvania, I felt sure he must go by the Danube mouth, or somewhere in the Black Sea, since by that way he come. It was a dreary blank that was before us, omne ignotum pro magnifico, and so with heavy hearts we start to find what ships leave for the Black Sea last night. He was in sailing ships since Madam Mina tells of sails being set. He's not so important as to go in your list of the shipping in the Times. And so we go, by suggestion of Lord Godalming, to your lords, where are a note of all ships that sail, however so small. There we find that only one Black Sea bound ship go out with the tide. She is the Caesariana Catherine, and she sailed from Doolittle's wharf for Varna, and thence on to other parts and end up the Danube. So, said I. The ship we're on is the Count. So we go off to Doolittle's wharf. I keep wanting to say Doolittle's dwarf. Oh my god. So we go off to Doolittle's wharf. And there we find a man in the office of wood, so small the man looked bigger than the office. From him we inquire of the goings of the Caesariana Catherine. He swore much, and he red-faced and loud of voice. He a good fellow all the same, and when Quincy gave him something from his pocket which crackled as he rolled up, and put in so small a bag which he have hid deep in his clothing, he still bare fellow and humble servant to us. He come with us and ask many men who are rough and hot. These be bare fellows too, and have been no more thirsty. They say much of blood and bloom, and of others which I comprehend not, though I guess what they mean. But nevertheless, they tell us all the things which we want to know. I cannot believe Quincy just outright gave out the good drug. Quincy out here giving out weed. Quincy out here giving out weed for information. We love that. We love you, Quincy. They make known to us among them how last afternoon about 5 o'clock comes a man so hurry. A tall man, thin and pale, high nose and teeth so white, and eyes that seem to be burning. And he be all in black, except that he have a hat of straw, which not suit him or the time. That he scatter his money in making quick inquiry as to what ship sails for the Black Sea, and for where. Some took him to the office and then to the ship, where he will not go aboard, but halt a shore end of a gangplank, and ask that the captain come to him. Captain come, when told that he'll pay well. Though he swear much, at first he agreed to the term. Then the thin man go, and someone tell him where horse and cart can be hired. He go there and soon come again, himself driving the car on which a great box. This himself lift down, though it takes several to put it on the truck for the ship. Gillich talked to the captain about as to how or where his box is to be placed. Captain like it not, and swear at him in many tongues. Tell him that if he like, he can come and see where it shall be. They say no, that he not come yet, and he have much to do. Upon the captain tell him that he had better be quick with blood, but that his ship will leave the place. Of blood, before the turn of the tide, with blood. And the thin man say that of course he must go when he think fit. He'll be surprised if he go quite soon. The captain swear again, polyglot, and the thin man make him bow, thank him, say that he'll so far intrude on his kindness as to come aboard before the sailing. Final the captain, more red than ever, and more tongues telling that he doesn't want no Frenchmen, with bloom upon them and also with blood in his ship, with blood on her also. So after asking where there might be close at hand a ship where he might push his ship, forms, he departed. No one knew where he went or Bloomin' well cared, as they said, but they had something else to think of. Well, with blood again. Soon became apparent all that the Cesar Catherine would not sail as was expected. Thin mist began to creep up the river, and it grew and grew, till soon a dense fog enveloped the ship and all around her. Captain swore polyglot, very polyglot with bloomin' blood. They could do nothing. The water rose and rose, began to fear that he would lose the tide altogether. He was in no friendly mood, and just at full time the thin man came up, the gangplank again, and asked to see where his box had been stowed. Then the captain replied that he wished that he and his box, old and with much bloomin' blood, were in hell. Thin man did not be offended. I'm sorry, I have an itch. But the thin man did not be offended, and went down with the mate, and saw where it was placed. Came up and stood a while on the deck in fog. Must have come off by himself, but none noticed him. Indeed, they thought not of him. As soon as the fog began to melt away, all was clear again. My friends of the thirst in the language that was of bloomin' blood laughed, as they told how the captain's swears exceeded even his usual polyglot. It was more than ever full of picturesque, and on questioning the other mariners who were on movement up and down the river that hour, and that few of them had seen any of fog at all, except where it lay round the wharf. How the ship went out on ebb tide, and was doubtless by morning far down the river mouth. She was by then, when they told us, well out to sea. I'm sorry, I have a real itch in my nose. Okay. And so, my dear Mina, is that we have to rest for a time, for our enemy is on the sea. The fog has command on his way to the Danube mouth. To sail a ship takes time, goes she never so quick. When we start to go on the land more quick, and we meet him there, the best hope is come on him when the box between sunrise and sunset, for then he can make no struggle. We may deal with him as we should. There are days for us, which we can make ready our plan. We know all about where he go. We have seen the owner of the ship, who has shown us invoices and all papers that can be. The box we seek is to be landed in Varna, and given to an agent, Von Ristix, who will be there present, his credentials, and so our merchant fan will have done his part. And he asks if there be any wrong, for that's so, and telegraph and have inquiry made at Varna. We say no. For what is to be done is not for police or of the customs, must be done by us alone and in our way. When Dr. Van Helsing had done speaking, I asked him if he was certain that the Count had remained on board the ship. He replied, "We have best proof of that, your own evidence. When in the Hypnotic trance this morning, I asked him again if it were really necessary that they should pursue the Count. For, oh, I dread Jonathan leaving me. Know that he would surely go if the others went." He answered in growing passion, at first quietly. As he went on, however, he grew more angry and more forceful, till in the end we could not see wherein was at least some of that personal dominance, which made him so long a master amongst men. Yes, it is necessary. Necessary. For your sake in the first, and then for the sake of humanity. This monster has done much harm already. In the narrow scope where he find himself, in the short time when, as of yet, he was only a body groping his so small measure in darkness and not knowing. All this I have told these others, you, my dear Mina, will learn in the phonograph of my dear friend John, or in that of your husband. I have told them how the measure of leaving his own barren land, barren of peoples, coming to a new land, where a life of men teems till they are like the multitude of standing corn, was the work of centuries. Were another of the undead like him, to try and do what he has done, perhaps not all the centuries the world have been, or that will be, could aid him. But this one, all forces of nature that are occult and deep and strong, must have worked together in some wondrous way. The very place where he had been alive, undead for all these centuries, is full of strangeness of geologic and chemical world. There are deep caverns and fissures that reach none know whither. There have been volcanoes, some of whose openings still send out waters of strange properties, gases that kill or make to vivify. Doubtless there is something magnetic or electric in some of these combination of occult forces, which work for physical life in some strange way, and in himself were from the first some great qualities. In a hard and warlike time, he was celebrate, and he had more iron nerve, more subtle brain, more braver heart than any man. In him, some vital principle have some strange way found their utmost, and as his body keeps strong and grow and thrive, so his brain too. All this without that diabolic aid, which is surely to him, for it have to yield to the powers that have come from, and are symbolic of good. Now this is what he is to us. He have infected you, oh forgive me, my dear, that I must say such, but it's for the good of you that I speak, can infect you in such a wise. And even if he do no more, you have only to live in your own world, to live in your own old sweet way, and so time, death, which is of man's common lot and God's sanction, shall make you like to him. This must not be. We have sworn together that it must not. Thus we are the ministers of God's own wish. That the world and men for whom his son died will not be given over to monsters, those whose very existence defame him. He have allowed us to redeem one soul already, and we go out as the old knights of the cross to redeem more. Like them we shall travel towards sunrise. Like them, if we fall in good cause. He paused and I said, but will not the Count take his rebuff wisely? Since he has been driven from England, will he not avoid it as a tiger does the village, which he has been hunted? Very interesting. We were talking about how the tiger was full of poison last night. Man, everything just keeps on circling back. We're back to poison tigers. Let's go. Aha, he said. You're simply the tiger good for me, and I shall adopt him. You're a man-eater, as they in India call the tiger, has once tasted the blood of the human. Care no more for other prey, but prowl unceasing till ye get him. This that we hunt from our village is a tiger too, a man-eater. He never ceased to prowl, nay, in himself he is not one to retire and stay afar. His living life, he'd go over to Turkey frontier and attack his enemy on his own ground. He'd be beaten back, but did he stay? No, he'd come again and again and again. Look at his persistence and endurance. With the child brain that was to him, he had long since conceived of the idea of coming to a great city. What does he do? Found out the place of all the world most He found out the place of all the world most a promise to him, and he deliberately set himself down and prepared for the task. He found in patience just how his strength. He found in patience just how in his strength, and what are his powers. He studied new tongues, he learned new social life, new environment of old ways, the politic, the law, the finance, the science, the habit of a new land and a new people have come to be since he was. His glimpse that he have had was his appetite only and in keen his desire, and it helped him grow as to his brain. For it all proved to him how right he was in his how it all proved to him how right he was at the first in his surmises. He have done this alone, all alone, from a ruined tomb in a forgotten land. What more may he not do when the greater world of thought is open to him? He can smile at death, as we know him, who can flourish in the midst of diseases that kill off whole peoples. If such a one was to come from God, and not the devil, what a force for good that he might not be in this old world of ours. But we are pledged to set the world free. Our toil must be in silence, and our efforts all in secret. For in this enlightened age, when men believe not even what they see, a doubting a wise man would be his greatest strength. Be at once his sheath and his armor, his weapon to destroy us. His enemies, who are willing to peril even our own souls for the safety of the one we love, for the good of mankind, for the honor and glory of God. After a general discussion, it was determined that, for tonight, nothing... Hold on. After a general discussion, it was determined that, for tonight, nothing be definitely settled. That we should all sleep on the facts, and try to think out proper conclusions. Tomorrow at breakfast, we are to meet again, and after making our conclusions known to one another, we shall decide on some definite cause of action. If only we all spoke like everyone does in a gothic novel. Does Dracula count as gothic? I think it does. Hold up, I need like a micro nap. I need like 5 years of sleep. crammed into a 5-minute nap. Anyone else feel that? In a nap stream, I would be down. I would be so down for a nap stream. Nap maxing, as they call it. I feel a wonderful peace and rest tonight. It's as if some haunting presence were removed from me. Perhaps my surmise was not finished. It could not be. But I caught sight of a red mark upon my forehead. And I knew I was still unclean. My god, this is... Okay. Just a stream, but I'm only napping. Just a stream where I do nothing but nap. I'd be so down. Make money off of naps with this music playing? I could. Dr. Seward's Diary, 5th of October. We all rose early. I think that sleep did much for each and all of us. We met at an early breakfast. There was more general cheerfulness than any of us had ever expected to experience again. It's really wonderful how much resilience there is in human nature. Let any obstructing cause, no matter what, be removed in any way, even by death. We fly back to the first principles of hope and enjoyment. More than once we sat around the table, my eyes open in wonder whether the whole of the past days had not been a dream. It's only when I caught sight of the red blotch on Mrs. Harker's forehead that I was brought back to reality. Even now, when I am gravely revolving the matter, it is almost impossible to realize the cause of all our trouble is still existent. Even Mrs. Harker seems to lose sight of her trouble for whole spells. It is only now and again that something recalls to her mind, that she thinks of her terrible scar. I had to meet here in my study in half an hour and decide on our course of action. I see only immediate difficulty. I know by instinct rather than reason. We shall all have to speak frankly. Yet I fear in some mysterious way poor Mrs. Harker's tongue is tied. Now that she forms conclusions of her own, and from all that from all that has been, I can guess how brilliant and true they must be. But she will not or cannot give them utterance. I mentioned this to Van Helsing. You and I to talk over it when we are alone. Suppose there's some of that horrible poison that has got into her veins beginning to work. God has his own purposes when he gave her what Van Helsing is called the vampire's baptism of blood. God, that's edgy. Well, there may be a poison that distills itself out of good things. In an age where the existence of Ptomaines is a mystery, we should not wonder at anything. One thing I know, that if my instinct to be true regarding poor Mrs. Harker's silences, then there is a terrible difficulty and unknown danger in the work before us. The same power that compels her silence may compel her speech. I did not think further, for so I should in my thoughts dishonor a noble woman. Van Helsing is coming to my study a little before the others. Shall try to open the subject with him. A yellow baptism of blood. That's just so metal. The vampire's baptism of blood. Later, when the professor came in, we talked over the state of things. I see that he had something on his mind that he wanted to say, but felt some hesitancy about broaching the subject. To being around the bush a little, he said suddenly, "Friend John, there is something that you and I must talk of alone. Just at the first, at any rate. Later, we may have to take the others into our confidence." Then he stopped. So I waited. He went on. "Madam Mina, Madam Mina, our poor dear Madam Mina is changing. Cold shiver ran through me to find my worst fears thus indoors. Van Helsing continued. But the sad experience of Miss Lucy must this time be warned before things go too far. Our task is now in reality more difficult than ever. This new trouble makes every hour of the direst importance. See the characteristics of the vampire coming in her face. It is now very, very slight. But it is to be seen if we have eyes to notice without to prejudge. Her teeth are some sharper. At times her eyes are more hard. These are not all. There is to her the silence now often. As so it was with Miss Lucy. She did not speak even when she wrote that which she wished to be known later. Now my fear is this. Now if that it be that she can, by our hypnotic trance, tell what the Count seen here. Is it not more true that he who have hypnotized her first, and who have drink of her very blood, make her drink of his, he will compel her mind to disclose to him that which she know? I nodded in acquiescence, and he went on. I'm sorry. It's still itchy nose. I think it's allergies. What else is a vampire going to baptize people in? Diet Coke? I think vampires would be more Dr. Pepper people. Then, what we must do to prevent this, we must keep her ignorant of our intent, so she cannot tell what she know not. This is a painful task, oh so painful that it heartbreaks me to think of. But it must be. And today we meet. I must tell her that, for reason which we will not speak, she must not more be of our counsel, but be simply guarded by us. He wiped his forehead, which had broken out in a profuse perspiration at the thought of the pain which might have been inflicted upon the poor soul already tortured. And that would be of some sort of comfort to him if I told him that I also come to see the same conclusion. But at any rate, it would take away the pain of doubt. I told him, and the effect was as I expected. It is now close to the time of our general gathering, and Helsing has gone away to prepare for the meeting, and his painful part of it. I really believe his purpose is to be able to pray alone. The store brand Dr. Pepper for the vampires that means Dr. Thunder. Wait, doesn't she have a man's brain? Does that mean nothing to Van Helsing? But she has the body and the soul, or the heart of a woman, though. Later, at the very outset of our meeting, a great personal relief was experienced by both Van Helsing and myself. Mrs. Harker had sent a message by her husband, saying that she would not join us at present, as she thought it better we should be free to discuss our movements without her presence to embarrass us. Professor and I looked at each other for an instant, and somehow we both seemed relieved. For my own part, I thought that if Mrs. Harker realized the danger herself, it was much pain as well as much danger averted. Under the circumstances we agreed, by a questioning look and answer, finger on lip, to preserve silence in our suspicions, until we should have been able to confer alone again. We went at once into our plan of campaign. Van Helsing roughly put the facts before us first. This is our arena. We have Ian. We have Ian. Okay, ugh. I am enjoying Dracula, it's just that a lot of these words tie my tongue. Micro nap. I'm sorry if I don't immediately come back to stream, I might fall asleep. I might just, like, fall unconscious. And then stream goes on for 15 whole ass hours again. Okay, now the Facebooks are fixed. I had to fix the tablet too. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm just chillin'. I'm just chillin'. Like a villain. Okay, and I am. Did everyone turn into vampires? All I turn. Honestly, Vesper, if you need sleep, get sleep. I will be okay with that. Vesper health more important than Vesper stream. Everyone turned into vampires while I was out? Nah. Vesper stream more important than vacation to Luxembourg. It's fine. It's more I'm gonna be real, I should drink more water and I probably should exercise more. That might give me an energy boost, cause I'm gonna be real, I've been mostly drinking I should be drinking more water and not just like sweetened tea. I think what I'm experiencing is like constant sugar crashing. I think part of what I'm experiencing is constant sugar crashing, maybe. Though I don't like eating sweets all day. I'm not eating sweets all day, however, I had a heavy meal. And now I'm drinking tea with sugar, and I also had like ice cream earlier. So like it's likely food like what happens when you ingest a lot of calories at once. Plus a little bit of a sugar crash, plus me never really exercising ever. Because I heard exercising helps with energy levels. Carbo comment exactly. I had fried chicken. And I had mashed potatoes. And I had mac and cheese. And I had cornbread. Man, I am nothing but starch right now. God, I'm just starch. Gods, I'm just starch and chicken. I'm just starch and chicken, guys. Damn, you didn't invite us? Okay, listen. Listen. It's cornbread one of the forbidden Nebraska cornbread's not, it's just regular cornbread. Regular cornbread in a cast iron pan. Regular cornbread in a cast iron pan. I ate the one with cheese was Friday. It was good. Ooh. RX on his way to summon Corn Thulu. Don't worry, I am almost finished with this chapter. Where am I? Yeah, we're almost finished, so we can wrap up and I can like toss y'all over to someone else. Y'all can be someone else's problem soon. Where did I fucking leave off at? Next time it will be the man witch. Ooh. I mean that very lovingly and adoringly. I love y'all. But I do realize I need to work on my energy levels. Like, maybe some exercise tomorrow, maybe? I would absolutely devour the enchilada sauce one, but nobody else in my household would. Same. Well, actually, no, I think my family would eat the enchilada one. Yes, for health is important. I know, I just never associated exercise with anything good, you know? I hated gym. I hated gym my entire life. Because that's where all my bullies were, all my annoyances were. Even my gym teachers bullied me. I was forced to go outside, in which I never really had that much fun outside. So, like, everything dealing with exercise is just chore to me. Exercise is just chore. Like, I'm making hand motions, and I'm making the rainbow, but the rainbow's in black and white, and lacks any goddamn whimsy. And the rainbow says, chore. Like maybe if I just have sex for an hour, I could do that. Maybe. I think that burns like what, 400 calories? I don't know. Wait a mile, no. I won my mouth and went away from my problems. Deal with it. Running a mile? No. Eating a mile? Yes. The Tsarina Catherine. The Tsarina Catherine left the Thames yesterday morning. It'll take her at the quickest speed. Hold on. Yeah, where's my Van Helsing voice? Tsarina Catherine left the Thames yesterday morning. It'll take her at the quickest speed she has ever made, at least 3 weeks to reach Varna, where you can travel overland at the same place in 3 days. Now, if we allow for 2 days less for the ship's voyage, owing such to weather influences as we know that the Count can bring to bear, we allow a whole day and night for any delays which may occur to us, in a margin of nearly 2 weeks. Thus, in order to be quite safe, must leave here on the 17th at the latest. And we shall be at any rate in Varna a day before the ship arrives. And able to make such preparations as may be necessary. Of course, we shall all go armed against evil things, spiritual as well as physical. Here Quincy Morris added. I understand the Count comes from a wolf country. May be that he shall get there before us. Suppose that we add Winchesters to our armament. I have kind of belief in a Winchester when there is any trouble that's so around. Do you remember when we had the pack after us at Tobolsk? What wouldn't we have given for a proper repeater apiece? Good, Van Helsing said. Winchesters it shall be. Quincy's head is level at all times. Quincy's head is level at all... the Van Helsing voice is lost. Good, said Van Helsing. Winchesters it shall be. Quincy's head is level at all times. The most so when there is to hunt, May therefore be more dishonored to science than wolves be of danger to man. In the meantime, we can do nothing here, as I think Varna is not familiar to any of us. Well, I'll go there more soon. It's a long journey to wait here as there. Tonight and tomorrow we can get ready, then if all be well, we four can start on our journey. We four? Said Harker interrogatively, looking from one another to us. Of course, said the professor quickly. You must remain to take care of your so sweet wife. Harker was silent for a while and then said in a hollow voice, Let's talk of that part in the morning. I wish to consult with Mina. I thought that now was time for Van Helsing to warn him not to disclose our plans to her, but he took no notice. I looked at him significantly and coughed. Grancy put his finger on his lips and turned away. Stretch. Jonathan Harker's journal, 5th of October afternoon. For some time after our meeting this morning, I could not think. The new phases of things leave my mind in a state of wonder, which allows no room for active thought. Mina's determination not to take part in the discussion set me thinking. And as I could not argue the matter with her, I could only guess. I am as far as ever from a solution now. The way the others received it, too, puzzled me. Last time we talked on the subject, we agreed there was to be no more concealment of anything amongst us. Mina is sleeping now, calmly and sweetly, like a little child. Her lips are curved and her face beams with happiness. Thank God there are such moments still for her. Later. How strange it all is. I sat watching Mina's happy sleep, and come as near as to being happy myself as I suppose I shall ever be. As the evening drew on, the earth took its shadows from the sun sinking lower, and the silence of the room grew more and more solemn to me. All at once, Mina opened her eyes, looking at me tenderly and said, Jonathan, I want you to promise something on your word of honor, a promise made to me, but made wholly in God's hearing, and not to be broken though I should go down on my knees and implore you with bitter tears. Quick, you must make it to me at once. Mina, I said, a promise like that I cannot make at once. I may have no right to make it. But dear one, she said with such spiritual intensity and her eyes were like pole stars. It is I who wish it. It is not for myself. And ask Dr. Van Helsing if I am not right. If he disagrees, you may do as you will. Nay, more, if you all agree, later, you are absolved from the promise. I promise, I said, and for a moment she looked supremely happy. Though to me all happiness for her was denied by the red scar on her forehead, she said, Promise me that you will not tell me anything of the plans formed for the campaign against the Count. Not by word or inference or implication, not any time whilst this remains to me. And she solemnly pointed to the scar. I saw that she was in earnest, and I said solemnly, I promise. And as I said it, I felt that instant a door had been shut between us. Later at midnight. Mina had been bright and cheerful all evening. So much so that all rest seemed to take courage, as if infected somewhat with her gaiety. As a result, even I myself felt that the pall of gloom which raised us down was somewhat lifted. We all retired early. Mina is now sleeping like a little child. It's a wonderful thing that her faculty of sleep remains to her in the midst of her terrible trouble. Thank God for it. For then, at least she can forget her care. Perhaps her example may affect me, as her gaiety did tonight. I shall try, for a dreamless sleep. 6th of October, another surprise. Mina woke me early, about the same time as yesterday, and asked me to bring Dr. Van Helsing. I thought it was another occasion for hypnotism. Without question, went for the professor. He had evidently expected some such call, for I found him dressed in his room. His door was ajar, so that he could hear the opening of the door of our room. He came at once. As he passed into the room, he asked Mina if the others might come too. No, she said quite simply. It will not be necessary. I can tell them just as well. I must go with you on your journey. That Dr. Van Helsing was as startled as I was. After a moment's pause, he asked, But why? You must take me with you. I am safer with you, and you shall be safer too. But why, dear Madam Mina? You know that your safety is our solemnest duty. We go into danger, to which you are, or may be, more liable than any of us from circumstances that from circumstances, things that have been. He paused, embarrassed. As she replied, she raised her finger and pointed to her forehead. I know. That is why I must go. I can tell you now, whilst the sun is coming up, I may not be able again. I know that when the Count wills me, I must go. I know that if he tells me to come in secret, I must come by wile. By any device to hoodwink, even Jonathan. God saw the look she turned on me as she spoke, and if there be indeed a recording angel, that look is noted to her everlasting honor. I could only clasp her hand. I could not speak. My emotion was too great even for the relief of tears. She went on. You men are brave and strong. You are strong in your numbers, but you can defy which would break down the human endurance of one who had to guard alone. Besides, I may be of service, since you can hypnotize me, and so learn which even I myself do not know. Dr. Van Helsing said very gravely, Madam Mina, you are, as always, most wise. You shall with us come, and together we shall do that which we go forth to achieve. And yet spoken, Mina's long spell of silence made me look at her. She had fallen back on her pillow asleep. She did not even wake when I pulled up the blind and let in the sunlight which flooded the room. Van Helsing motioned to me to come with him quietly. Went to his room, and within a minute, Lord Godalming, Dr. Seward, and Mr. Morris were with us also. He told them what Mina had said and went on. In the morning we shall leave for Varna. Now I have to deal with a new factor, Madam Mina. Oh, but her soul is true. It is to her an agony to tell us so much she has done. But is most right, and we are warned in time. There must be no chance lost. In Varna we must be ready to act the instant that ship arrives. What shall we do exactly? Asked Mr. Morris laconically. Professor paused before replying. We shall first board that ship. Then, when we have identified the box, we shall place a branch of the wild rose on it. This we shall fasten. For when there none can emerge. So at least says the superstition. And to superstition we must trust at first. Is man's faith in the early, and it have its root in faith still. Then when we get the opportunity that we seek, when none are near to see, we shall open the box, and all will be well. I shall not wait for any opportunity, said Morris. When I see the box, I shall open it and destroy the monster. Though there were 1,000 men looking on, if I am to be wiped out for it in the next moment. I grasped his hand instinctively and found it firm as a piece of steel. I think he understood my look. I hope he did. Good boy, said Dr. Van Helsing. Brave boy. Quincy is all man. God bless him for it, my child. Believe me, none of us shall lag behind or pause from any fear. I do. Let's say what we may do, what we must do. But indeed we cannot say what we shall do. There are many things which may happen, and their ways and their ends are so various that until the moment we cannot say. We shall all be armed in all ways, when the time for the end has come, our efforts shall not be lack. Now let us today put all our affairs in order, and all things which touch on others dear to us, and on those who we depend, let all things which touch on others dear to us, and on who us depend, be complete. For none of us can tell what, or when, or how the end may be. As for me, my own affairs are regulate, and as I have nothing else to do, I shall go make arrangements for travel. I shall have all tickets and forth for our journey. There's nothing further to be said, and we parted. I shall now sell up all my affairs of the earth. Be ready for whatever may come. Later. It is all done. My will is made and all complete. Mina, if she is to survive, is my sole heir. If it should not be so, then the others who have been so good to us shall have remainder. It is now drawing towards sunset. Mina's uneasiness calls my attention to it. I am sure there is something on her mind, which the time of the exact sunset will reveal. These occasions are becoming harrowing times for us all. For each sunrise and sunsets opens up some new danger, some new pain. Which however may in God's will be a good end. I write all these things in my diary since my darling must not hear them now. But if it may be that she can see them again, she shall be ready. She is calling to me. And we are going to end there. At chapter 25. I'm sorry, I look weird. I am leaning back in my chair. This was a hoot, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to read more, but the energy level is just kapooty. The energy level is just kaput. The energy level does not exist. Okay, who do we have? Hallie. We have Ace, we have Kiro. We have Neff. We have Domi. Da 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 da. I think, since I was talking about earlier, I think we'll just raid Ace. Because I think we're kind of hitting around the time when Neff ends as well. Which means I'm going to go ahead and just send everyone over to Ace. Back to the scene of the crime. Vespa, you need to get some sleep. And by some sleep, I mean 4 or 5 years of sleep, 6 hours or so. Right! Right! I have sleep debt from years back. I have sleep debt for years, my guy. Back to the scene of the crime. No, wait, that's a shout out. What the fuck am I doing? But thank y'all. I'll be back tomorrow with a new game. And then, Tuesday I'm busy. Wednesday is Heroes of Heterodoxy. And then, Thursday might be something. Friday might be something. No, wait, I might just be over on Chef's channel. Like, let's just have collabs. Let's just have collabs. Let's just have collabs. And, if any of y'all need me, you know where to find me. But good night, good fortune, see you when I see you. Bye.